Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It's a movie that Rotten Tomatoes has not been too kind to. 49% from Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience is giving it 84%. That's the more important score. I thought this was a pretty good movie, especially coming from someone who not really a huge fan of the Ant-Man franchise. I mean, it's okay. I guess I can enjoy it a little bit, but it's not something I'm going to sit down and go, you know what? Let's go watch Ant-Man today. But this one works for me. I enjoyed the story here. Going back into the quantum realm, exploring what we didn't know existed before. It is a very visually stimulating movie. There is a lot going on, not only in the foreground, the background, the light sources. The visual stimulation could almost get a little overbearing. So I was a little confused on where my focus should be at times, but aside from that, it was really great seeing all these different creatures of different species, and it's been referenced as kind of a Star Wars knockoff. I could see that with the creatures, Star Wars, Star Trek. It's a mixture. It's definitely a big alien race down there. Now, what's great about this is the story behind Hope's mom, who didn't tell everyone what really happened down there, and the secrets that she was keeping that essentially put everybody in danger. So it was interesting seeing who she really was down there, what she did, and all the secrets that she kept that now has to come out in order to save her family, and get home. Now, before going down there, I gotta backtrack a little bit because Cassie and Scott are having this father-daughter conflict because Scott's just kind of lagging around. After Endgame, he played the superhero part. He's kind of relishing in the victory and not really doing a whole lot with his life since then. Meanwhile, Cassie is kind of disappointed in that. She's thinking that, Dad, there's still people out there that need help. You need to continue being that superhero. And he's not doing it, so they're butting heads there. I will say the one disappointing factor in this for me had to be Modok's character. This didn't really work for me. It felt like an afterthought. The premise behind him just seemed jumbled and a mess. The idea of the character was really good. I was actually looking forward to this character, but the execution wasn't there. I don't feel like they took this character nearly as seriously as they did Kang's, and I felt like the character deserved a little bit more. Kind of felt like once the movie was over, they then realized they forgot to put Modok in there, and they're like, oh crap, this script is done, we forgot to put him in there, what are we gonna do? Well, just shove him in there somewhere, we'll make it work. We gotta use him. That's how it felt to me. But I will say what absolutely made this movie, hands down, was Jonathan Majors playing Kang. Kang was everything to me in this film. He is the reason I continued watching the movie. The first act was kind of slow. You're working up the storyline, blah, blah, blah. You get down in the quantum realm. Now we get to Kang. Kang, this guy has such presence. He is the ultimate Marvel villain. He's like the next Thanos. And I know we've heard that referenced as well, and it's 100% true. I loved seeing Kang on the screen. Now, luckily, they took him very seriously. There wasn't a whole lot of joking around when he was on screen. As a matter of fact, there was no joking around when he was on screen. He took his role very seriously. They took the character very seriously. And once in a while, we got the typical Marvel jokes, especially from Scott. Luckily, it didn't go as far as Thor Love and Thunder did, because that was just one comical debacle, and that ruined that film. Luckily, that didn't happen here. We had some jokes here and there. I think they were well placed. I didn't finish the movie and think to myself, wow, they used way too many jokes. So we kind of avoided the typical Marvel mistakes there. I do like how throughout the movie, Scott kept stepping up and doing what had to be done, facing his fears, realizing that he is the superhero, that he has to take on that role yet again and do what's best for the world. Kang is just out to destroy everyone, everything, multiple timelines. He is just rage and vengeance. And he has so much hatred that he doesn't care who he kills, who he takes with him, who he manipulates to help him. It's amazing what they did with that character. I will say for a 2-hour movie, it progressed pretty well after the first act. Again, a little bit slow in the beginning, but once it started ramping up, that time just went on pretty quick, and it didn't feel like the full 2 hours that it was. Now, although it was long, I did enjoy my time watching it. I am very anxious now to see what happens with the Kang dynasty, where we're going to go from here, and I want to see more of this character. Jonathan Majors blew this role out of the water. I can't imagine anyone else playing this. This is a totally different Kang than we saw in Loki. I mean, that was kind of a softer version. This one, much more aggressive, much more diabolical, and much more manipulative. If you love Marvel movies in general, you want to see something good superhero action, definitely watch this movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I think you will as well. If you've seen it already, let me know what you thought of it. As always, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm Kevin, and I'll see you at the concession stands.